Let's bring in National Review editor-in-chief Rich Lowry and Fox News contributor Deroy Murdock. Of those three, Rich, you did a kind of conversation with editors and writers at the National Review. Of those three we just showed, I would guess one maybe is in the running for the VP slot, and his last name is Scott.
Well, I think Burgum has, I think he has a chance. The Trump people really like him. They found him easy to work with, and he's pretty sure-footed, as we saw there. But this is the advantage. One, Trump loves the drama of this in the theater, and everyone's sort of competing for it. But he does have 4 Republicans on every Sunday show, every weekend, defending him, because they all want to show, I can do it, I'll stand up for you, sir, and try to make a name for themselves. Some are doing better than others.
Hands down, I think Vivek Ramaswamy does the best. I mean, I think he channels Trump almost better than Trump sometimes himself. But it doesn't seem like he's that high on the list. And so again, it begs the question, what is the criteria that you think Donald Trump is looking at?
Well, certainly somebody can step and take over the job, as he said.
Yeah.
I think somebody who also, you want somebody who's going to add to the coalition, add to the number of votes you get. I think Tim Scott's very exciting that way. We've seen black voters coming towards Trump in some numbers at 14, 15%, which beats his performance of 12% in 2020. Some polls have him at 22 or 28%. And if Tim Scott can solidify that and help bring more black voters as well, he's also an evangelical. I think he attracts that part of the electorate. Those are all big positives. And he's much better as a Trump surrogate than I think he was as a candidate. He's very effective, very well spoken, very energetic, and I think that is going to increase his stock price over the next few weeks ahead.
Well, he is a church-going, nice Southern gentleman.
Yes.
And if he lacks dynamism, he certainly has authenticity all day long. Rich, what about the ladies? What about, say, Sarah Huckabee Sanders?
I think I'm surprised she's not talked about more. I think she makes sense on so many levels. Suburban mom, cancer survivor, a couple kids, has great anecdotes and stories, a good communicator, a Trump loyalist. Showed she can, she was in the cauldron, not at this level, but being press secretary during the Trump years was not easy, and she did it very well. So among the women candidates, if we're going to put people, stovepipe people that way, she'd be high on my list.
I give you permission.
Thank you. I'd put her high on the list.
Stovepipe away.
I'd put her high on the list.
Silo away.
All right, let's move on to this because conspiracy theorist, alarm poller, and former middle school principal, Congressman Jamal Bowman, has a new theory about the education system in America.
I work in Congress. When you go in the rotunda and you look at American history, you see colonists coming in and taking over America from the Native Americans. There is no reference to the black people who built this country in our rotunda. But we're scolding you about teaching hate. You know how many black statues there are in the Capitol? 3. You know how many Confederate statues there are in the Capitol? 12. I work in an institution that teaches hate. Yet we're scolding you as educators who have been doing an exemplary job fighting against hate in our schools.
Roy, does Jamal work in an institution of hate?
That's amazing because if the Democrats happen to take over, Hakeem Jeffries will become Speaker, and he's a black man. So if it's such a hateful place, I don't think you put a black guy right one step away from becoming Speaker of the House. And here's Jamal Bowman. He's one of about 40, 50 black congressmen. The Congressional Black Caucus is very big, very vocal. And when the Democrats were in control, they ran a variety of committees, including financial services, I believe the Agriculture Committee. I don't think a nation of racists would put a black person in charge of the food supply.
Just real quick, but Democrats worked the hardest to get rid of Mia Love from Utah, an African-American woman in the Republican Party. They didn't give her a pass. They wanted her out.
And they hate Tim Scott because he's a well-spoken black man who came up from nothing. They can't stand that.
Jamal Bowman, so he hosted a fundraiser with an extremist who praised the October 7th attacks, reversed himself after calling reports of sexual violence on October 7th propaganda. And there was a recent story. It turns out he was a 9/11 conspiracy theorist when he was a high school principal, and he follows accounts on YouTube that includes disinformation peddlers in Russia and China, flat earthers, and then alienists, you name it. You think that the other squad members are out to lunch?
Yeah.
This guy never packed a lunch.
Yeah, it might be the worst statement about American education that guy was ever a principal. I mean, we should weep for our children on that basis alone. And he's trying to deflect there, right? Clearly, we have taught our kids to hate our own civilization, our own country, and to hate Israel. And the Republican Congress has done a lot of good work exposing this, trying to hold people to account. And he's like, no, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about a couple statues I don't like in the Capitol.
We see the fruits of that labor on college campuses across the country today. All right, let's move on to this, because the family of a 16-year-old North Carolina student who was suspended for using the term illegal alien is now suing the school board for harsh punishment and false accusations of racism. His mother joined Fox and Friends this morning with what pushed the family to action.
Christian was getting threats. Christian was being called a racist. Christian was suspended 3 days out of school suspension. He missed several very important track meets. And since that time, we have removed him from the school. And since, we had no resolution, we had no other choice but to file a lawsuit and take this public.
Roy, right move here?
Wrong move. If they're going to suspend this young man for using the term illegal alien, they need to suspend the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court cases often use the term illegal alien. You go through the U.S. Code, you see the term illegal alien over and over and over again. There's a proper legal term the federal government uses. And we talk about migrants. That reminds me of like migratory birds. They're just sort of coming and going. It's a euphemism, and it sort of deadens the fact that these are people breaking into our country. They're aliens who are illegally. The correct and proper and moral term is illegal alien. Kudos to that young man for having the courage to use the term illegal alien.
But that goes back to what the left wants to do. This is about the fascist control of language. So you control the language and you change the meaning of words.
Absolutely.
And then you punish people for using the correct terms because, well, people in power don't like it because they're the ones who are allowing the law breaking.
Yeah, so they don't believe that there's a border, so therefore there's no such thing as illegal alien, and no one should ever use the term. And it's one thing, maybe if this kid called, some Latino kid an illegal alien in a way that was nasty or meant to be insulting. He asked an innocent question about the use of what sense the word alien was being used, like extraterrestrial or illegal alien. And apparently some other kid took objection, but that other kid is a problem. Apparently the other kid challenged him in a fight. I think that's in dispute. But if the other kid did that, it's on the other kid. So I'm not a lawyer, but I think they got a good chance to win this case or get a good settlement, and they should.
And they should. All right, Deroy, we appreciate you guys being with us. You as well, Rich. Appreciate it.